Okay, I'm live and whatnot. Goddamn. Okay, let's move this mic forward a little bit so it can actually pick me up, and let's go ahead and send out some links, huh? Yeah? Okay, we'll do that. Do, and stuff. My channel right there. Click that, copy that, kill that, go here, put this out there. There. We'll go to two other places before I really get this started. We'll go right there, and we'll post this up. It's fighting me. I haven't done one of these in a while. And there. That ought to do that. Let's put it out on Twitter, shall we? Fandom Rant 2. Bam. Tweetificate. Shut that off. There. Everything's sent out. Okay. Oh my gosh. So what's been up? Here's what's going on with me. For a little while there, I was doing streaming, and I'm still doing it, but oh man, I just seem to run into one problem after another. First, I set everything up and my capture card wasn't working right. I don't know why. So I got the capture card fixed, got that working. Then I couldn't get the webcam and the capture card to work at the same time. Fixed that. Built a backdrop. Got all that coming out. Then after I got all that stuff going, TV monitor went bad. So I got rid of that, and I got this other one, still an old one, but one that was in the house. Got that set up. Was like, okay, there. Finally. Everything's out of the way. Everything's set. There we go. Now I'm ready. And then the next thing I knew, another problem. Got in today, and the color's going out, so everything's like really scratchy and like high-res blue and broken, and it doesn't work, and I can't figure out why. Oh man. One issue after another, after another, after another. I can't figure it out. I'm going to. It's going to take time. I got to work through one thing at a time. I replaced all the cords, so like now I've got it to where it was having a problem where it kept screwing up. I would play it on the PlayStation, then it would go over to the feed, and then when it went in through that cord, the cord was messing up, so the feed would like blur and then get all jagged and like just it's giving me problems. Okay? That's what it was doing. It was giving me problems. Problems that are fixed now, except for the TV monitor went out. So, man, I just cannot catch a break on the streaming thing right now. I don't know why. So, Fandom Rant, the whole purpose of Fandom Rant in general is to talk different fandom topics. And I have my book here with all kinds of crap that I've had over the years that I've written down that I need to talk about. And anybody that comes in, which right now is nobody, could ask a question or whatever. But you know what? Let's talk about, I went to a store recently called Warp Drive Toys. Yeah, that's the thing. And you never guess what they sell there. They sell toys, Star Trek toys. They also sell like Ghostbusters memorabilia and things of that nature. Very much a kind of store that is built for that kind of stuff. It's very movie-based toys, collector's items, things of that nature. Let's move this out of the way because I need some of this space here. But while I was there, I found a couple of things for the shelf. And I am going to open them to put them on the shelf, for that matter. And I have a really cool one, too, by the way. There. There we go. Okay. So let's start here. Let's first off, we picked this up. I thought this was kind of cool. I liked the fact that I found the DS9 original costume stuff. Like, first off, I love that episode when they go back in time and they end up in the Tribbles episode. I love that. Oh my God, he comes with Tribbles. He comes with Tribbles. I didn't expect that. Bashir came with Tribbles. Let's move that. Okay. Sure. Man, this packaging is something else, man. We'll throw that over there for right now because we're going to get all this as we go. There's that. Back of the box, fairly standard. You wouldn't be able to read it right now regardless. I'm on webcam and it's also backwards. It's something about the way that YouTube streams. Like if I ran it through OBS, I could flip it around, but for right now, I was just looking to come on and talk anyway, so I guess I wasn't that worried about it. Oh my gosh, come on now. All right. That is really bad. I remember Playmates not having the greatest looking equipment for their people, but yeah, that is really, really bad. Oh my God, so much tape. Okay, hold on. Okay, there, this thing. I know what they are, but okay, that's good. That's not bad compared to the rest of the equipment. The little communicator, that's fine. And then he came with 2 other Tribbles too. Dang. Okay. Here, we'll toss that to the side. He came with fuzzy Tribbles, and then he came with hard plastic Tribbles. Oh my gosh. There's a communicator. Let's get his badge out so he actually can stand. Oh. Okay. There. Pretty sweet. I liked that each one of them came with a badge when I was growing up. I remember that being cool. All right. There he is. He's not bad. He's actually not bad. I remember the Playmates being real good about capturing faces. And like I said, it's going to be hard to see. It's on a webcam and everything. But I got Bashir here. So Julian Bashir. Let's put his foot here. There. That's set. That's one. We got him. He'll go on the shelf right here. This is the Star Trek shelf. I'll post a picture of it later on my Twitter or whatever. And probably on Facebook, for that matter. So, he came with a manual thing. Let's remember what these things are, too. Batwoman trailer, it sucked. Did it suck? I remember looking at her and thinking she looked great. Did the trailer suck? That's a shame if that's true. Star Trek. Tribbles game. Match special marked Playmates Star Trek toy packages available at your local retail store. Watch Deep Space Nine on the week of September 29th to reveal the grand prize winner. What if this was a winner? What if I won? I can't claim it. It's way past due. But what if I won? That is crazy. We're going to put that to the side. Okay. Throw that down there. Let's get something more. Yeah, you're saying it's absolute trash too. Man, everybody is hating this trailer. That almost makes me want to see it. I need to watch it and come back and talk about it at some point then, because damn. Because when she appeared, I thought she appeared well on the what were they? What was it? I can't remember what they were. It was the crossover event that happened fairly recently. Was it Elseworlds that they were calling it or whatever? Okay, now this is one of the next generation toys. I needed Geordi. I have almost everybody sitting on the shelf from the next generation bridge crew, except I didn't have Geordi. So let's get his freaking badge here. If I can get his badge here. Ugh. This, that claims to be a next generation toy, but that looks like the movie badge to me. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all if it's all social justice warrior shit. Sadly, that would not surprise me in the least, which is sad. Okay, got Geordi. Oh, he's stiff as shit. Oh my God. There. And we'll get him set up on the shelf too with everybody else. I needed a Geordi. He was the only one from the bridge crew that I didn't have. It's pretty solid representation. I'm fine with the uniform. I would have preferred that I got the first season uniform, because that's what I have up on the shelf right now. Is most everybody is cut from the first season. Like, you got Data here and whatnot. So I would have preferred it, but hey, it is what it is. I gotta get what I can get. And then I got Scotty back here. I got a couple things. Maybe I'll bring them all down and show here in a second. But we got Geordi. Let's get all his stuff. He came with a card. I did an episode on cards. Remember, everything was cards, and I showed you that I had like a huge collection of cards that were just sitting around now, because everybody thought these things were going to be worth something. And some of us kids had no idea about that. We were just excited to like get cards with pictures on them because we were so taken in by the freaking corporate lifestyle crap. We were bred to be consumers, man. Okay. Everything we watched when we were kids was a toy commercial. Like, frickin' everything. It didn't matter what you were watching, even Star Trek. In fact, I'm doing it right now. I'm opening Star Trek toys, because if it appeared on screen, man, it has a toy. It is unbelievable, some of the characters that you can find. Yeah, you like these highly detailed blue things. What's that? What is that? Do you even know what that is? Do you have any? Because I actually don't even know what the shit this is. It's that thing. It's the thing. Then he's got 2 data pads here. There you go. Okay, the cards we got, just for the sake of, though, we got Worf here. Let's see, this is Lieutenant Junior Grade Worf. This is after he'd moved to gold, it looks like. Started in red in the series. And then we have Geordi. Not bad. Yeah, I was right. It is movie uniform. Which is not a bad thing. The movie uniforms weren't bad uniforms. They were just close enough to what we had in the series that it didn't break the continuity. It looked fine to me. Let's open her. Let's open one of the girls. That sounded wrong. Okay. Once again, get the badge here. Okay, we'll put that down there. This is Dax, is what I'm opening right now. Dax from the Tribbles episode. Okay, she does not come with any fuzzy Tribbles. Hey, look, I got another chance to win. But she did come with the hard Tribbles. Let's see. Okay, she came with one of those pads that they would give to Kirk on the ship, where he was sitting on the chair and they'd hand him the pad, and then he would take the little pencil out and he kind of write on it. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh. If they weren't just like, oh, here's some standard gray items or whatnot, because the figures themselves have really stood up to the test of time. They really do look like what you're buying. They look like these characters. Playmates did an awesome job crafting faces and things of that sort most of the time. They got a little lazy later on as the toys kind of went on. Some of them stopped looking like what they were supposed to. But for the most part, you had no trouble discerning who it was that you had bought. She came with 2 plastic hard tribbles. Okay, we'll throw this to the side. She ain't got no cards. There she is. There's Dax. Not an awful representation of her. Could be better, but not awful. Some of these characters, they get really spot on, and some of them they don't. She is kind of an in-between. She looks fine for what she is, but she's definitely not standout. Let's get this one, shall we? This is the last one from the Tribbles pack that I was able to find. And to be fair, when I look at the back, the only one I didn't find, original uniform anyway, would be Miles O'Brien. I didn't find him. I got everybody else from this. And all from one place, too. I didn't have to go around or shop online or anything like that. There was this really cool shop that opened up, like I said at the beginning, which I don't think anybody was in here when I first started talking. There's a new store in my area called Warp Drive Toys. And this is primarily what they sell is Star Trek, Star Wars, movie toys, things of that nature. So I saw some really cool Ghostbusters stuff in there too. That was part of what they were selling. It was a really cool store for what it was worth. It was nice to go there. Okay, another chance to win. Let's see what all he comes with. Of course, I'll put that here with all this other stuff. He came with one of those pads that you give to Kirk. He came with 2 plastic tribbles. And, I didn't realize it till just now, but when I opened her up, she did not get a communicator, so hopefully she always stays next to somebody. Okay, what'd you just ask? Do I have the Bad Gorn toy? No, man, that would be awesome. Yeah, of course we'll show that. I don't know. Okay. Oh, man, he looks good. That looks like Avery Brooks, man. That looks like Avery Brooks. That's what I mean. These toys were really good about crafting the faces to really kind of put it out there. Sometimes they screwed up. I bought some of them that were bad. But for the most part, when you got these, they looked like who they were supposed to look like. It was you didn't even have to think about it. You could just look at them and say, "Oh shit, that is Avery Brooks. Oh shit, that is, well, you know what? I got one more. Those were the main things I saw there. I saw a bunch of other stuff too that I almost bought, like another Picard, but I like the Picard I have and everything. But I saw a couple of things that I was real close to buying. But I bought these because I love anything that I can get that's original series, even if it's like these, where it's the other characters going back. I'm into that. I liked that concept. And then I'm sitting there and I'm looking all around and I end up finding something from the original series. There we go. Now let's see here. I hope I didn't just show it to everybody. I don't think I did. Let's get this stuff. Open this. Ridiculousness. Oh man, this is crazy sealed. It's a bag inside of a bag. Ass. God. Come on. There. Okay. That's the badge he came with. Let's go over some stuff that he came with, shall we? Got a computer screen for your desk? Yeah. It's solid black. Let's go in here a little further. Got an original series phaser. That's a pretty good one compared to a lot of the crap. I've been showing them to you. They come out and they're just blue or just red or whatever. And then this, for people that are really, really up on Star Trek, this might give it away if you can make out what it is. It came with this little thing right here. That little thing was an agonizer. And now let's show you who I found. Oh my gosh. The joints are stiff. Damn. Okay, there we go. Let's break the other one in. There. I got freaking Mirror Universe Spock. Mirror Universe Spock, people. Dude, he's so cool. Okay, that's awesome. So there we go. That's what I picked up so far at this store. I found a Mirror Universe Spock, Cisco. I got Dax. I got Bashir, and I got Geordi LaForge. That's what I found. Now, I'm going to add these couple of things. Let's just do this. We'll do it live right here, right now. This is my box from my shelf back there where I keep stuff. That's all this is. So we're going to take all their stuff, tribbles and everything. That's what this whole freaking box is. This box is outrageous. It's got swords and G.I. Joe things and guns and stands and like, look at that. Look at that shit. Oh, yes, show it. Okay, yes. Holy crap. Yeah, there's some wild shit in here. Like that. It's friggin' the Tiger Sword's tail. Sandman's hand. A web. Friggin' Gundam shield. A hand. It's Goku's hand. Specifically. I got a Gwen Stacy head in here. One of those old laptops. That's what this box is. That's where we keep all the stuff that doesn't end up on the shelf or whatever. And let's, for the sake of, since we're already here doing it, and since all of these are going to go up on this shelf anyway, here's Scotty. So I have movie Scotty. Deanna is, she's fine, I guess. Something about her face is almost terrifying to me. But there's her. We have Diana. She's going up on the shelf. We have Data. He's going up on the shelf. It's already on the shelf, to be fair. I have a Riker. Man, these are so old, man. These toys are so neat, though. Okay, here we go. That's my Picard. I like him because he's got that open coat. I like that look. And there's two more that I have up here. I have Worf. He often gets Worfed. And then I have Beverly Crusher. There's still a couple of bridge officers that I'd like to get from Next Generation, and almost all of them that I'd like to get from the original series. But for the most part, for the most part, we've almost got everybody. Like, I wouldn't mind having a Lieutenant Yar. Let's put all these people up here so they're all out of the way. I'll arrange them later. But we need space right now. Unless we get talking on a specific topic, I'm going to keep opening things. Oh my gosh. So many. And we'll put the cards up here for right now. There. All that is put away. Let's come back over here, shall we? Jeez. Okay. I have a question. Which of the Rangers do you want to be green? Mighty Morphin or Gold Zeo Ranger? Or Red Sun Vulcan? Or many others. Who do I want to be? If I could pick one, oh man. If it wasn't killing me, I'd be Gold. It's always been my favorite Ranger. Always. Like, as long as I can remember. Gold Zeo. To be fair, that has to be specified, because if you just say Green Ranger, most people know what you're talking about, but you could very well be referencing Zeo Green for whatever reason. Okay, let's put this back over here. Dang. Okay. So now that's taken care of. Let's go into the book for a second, shall we? We've still got time. It says, requested Nintendo memory. Mark that off the list. A Nintendo memory. I do actually have one that comes up very often. Recently, we were trying to get the Nintendo to work. A couple of guys had come over and they wanted to play some games. We set up the old Nintendo and I was like, good luck. I don't have a top loader right now. My top loader, it got damaged. Let's see if we can't fix some of the lighting in here a little bit. And really help at all, did it? Maybe it was this one that I should have worried about. Whoop. Makes it a little bit better. It's not great. Makes it a little bit better. Okay. So anyways, I went down, we got the Nintendo, we set it up, and they start trying to put this game in. They're trying to get the damn game to work, and they cannot get it to work. They get all kinds of the flashy screens and shit like that, the orange screen, the blue screen. Let's see if we can put this back up. I really need to get my lights back. And then we're right back to the same problem we had. Fuck it. So anyways, I got to thinking about it. And you remember everybody had a trick? Everybody had like this guaranteed way that they could make these things work. I remember crazy shit too. Like you would hold the reset button, take the game out, blow in the cartridge, blow in the system, put it back, put it down, let go of the reset button, and then, oh, magic. And I even have a friend, it's Shane, actually, Shane from the show. He swears this is a thing, that if you take the system, hold reset, and flip the system upside down and let it go, it'll work. Everybody had this trick, this one little trick that they swore worked all the time, that they could get your system to work, the Nintendo tricks. Like, you know, we talk about things being broken today, and then oftentimes I'll hear people say things like, oh, well, when I was growing up, our stuff worked, or our stuff was made quality, or yada, yada. Man, the Nintendo was broken the day you got it. You remember the original front loader and how many times you would put it in? You get the blinking screen, blinking blue, blinking red, blinking yellow, or whatever. And then you'd have to take the game out, and everybody was always blowing in the cartridges and putting them back in. And all the systems were shit. All the systems were shit. It took a long time. And the front loader was really bad about this. Later on, we actually got the top loader, and that problem went away because they fixed that NES chip problem that they were having. That was a big help. Let's open this freaking window up, man. It is hotter than shit. I'm telling you guys. I don't know if you probably hear birds and shit now, but I don't care, man. It is hot as shit. But that's one of the things that was written in the book, was just Nintendo memory. Let's see some other stuff that we can get out of the way so it doesn't have to become main episodes or whatever. Oh. That doesn't require too much, but somebody asked me to talk about space on video game systems. I don't think this one takes very long. It's ass. It's ass. Like, these systems, and they know they're not stupid. They sell these 500 gig systems or whatever. They're pointless. Like, you cannot make any use of a 500 gig system. You really can't. And by now, they shouldn't be selling the systems at 500 gigs. I realize they're like, oh, well, it'll cost more. Well, you know what? Then make it cost more. Because I take the games, I install like what, three big games. You figure the operating system takes almost 100 or more. And then I've only got 500, so I'm down to 400. I put Metal Gear on there. I lose like 87 or some shit like that. I play Final Fantasy 15. I lose like 115 or something. And then I'm like, oh man, let me I love to play Elder Scrolls Online. Well, there's like 110 right there. You're done. You're done. I hope you like gaming. Like, these systems should not be coming out at 500 gigs. By now, we really should have moved past the 500 gig shit. It's about ridiculous, to be honest. Let's see what else people have asked. I do this often, like when I do these shows and people ask questions. Sometimes if I don't care to answer them or I don't get to them, I come back and I write them down. Oh, that's not really a question, is it? Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia is 10 years old. You feel old? Feel old? I actually think it's like 11 years old now. Tales of Vesperia. Damn, man. In fact, they just came out with a new one. They remastered it for the Nintendo Switch. It came out real good. It has a couple characters that we didn't get. There was a PlayStation version that was released that had like some extra characters and some stuff like that. It was higher definition, if you could really tell. But yeah, that came out, and we never got that version. I think that's pretty much what they did with the Switch, was they just re-released that version, and then they gave us like some DLC costumes and shit like that. Which some of the costumes are really cool. So that's not that bad of a thing. But damn, it's true, man. Vesperia is 10 years old. What do I think of the PlayStation Plus month games? What do you want me to say? They're free. Sometimes they're good. I would suggest that if you see them, download them, because why would you pass up free? But I mean, really, I'm not sure what they wanted with that question. What else did I copy down here? Says, please show off the Dragon Dagger. Please show off Saba. Please show off the Dragon Zord. Please show off Tiger Zord. Damn. Some of that I can do. Like now. They're all Legacy Collection. I'll come back here and I'll get them. All right. Here, let's do it then. This is my dragon dagger. This is from the Legacy Collection. It's always back there, right back there under the power sword on the sword rack. It's a pretty decent build, to be fair. All of this gold is real gold. That's pretty sweet, to be fair. This is plastic. It's plastic. It's fucking wobbly and shit up here, which I guess, to be fair, they didn't want to sell me an actual killing weapon, but you get the idea. This pushes in. All three buttons work. In fact, let me remember where the switch is. The switch is kind of hidden. It's right here. That is actually the switch that turns it on. So let's see here. So there's your fighting noises right there. You push that in, it does nothing. In order to make it work, you actually have to push that in and then push one of these. Well, I guess we're waiting a minute now. Wonder if I should cover that up, because recently, we actually got tagged. We got tagged from Hasbro. Hasbro tagged us for doing the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. So Hasbro not only bought Power Rangers, Hasbro bought the Next Mutation Ninja Turtles, because they tagged us and claimed our video for talking about frickin' the Next Mutation. This is still going. They put the whole damn song on this dagger. Da 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 da. Yeah, they were very protective of the Next Mutation. It's just, for what? What the fuck? Why? Who gives a fuck, Hasbro? Who gives a fuck? How much money do you think you got off of our videos? And first off, that's another thing too. I normally wouldn't just shit on Hasbro right off the bat like this, because I've been trying to give them a chance. But as if Hasbro listens to fucking my show, I got nothing going on here. I got like fucking 30-something views or some shit. But realistically, Hasbro, look, you copyright claimed us on the Next Mutation. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Next Mutation. First off, the show is awful. You should just let it die rather than bringing attention to it like that. And next, you probably got a couple of pennies off that. And you can't claim our video. Fair use, we fall directly into fair use, because the only thing we did was images. That's it. Still images. And on top of still images, the only other thing we did was talk over it. Everything we talked about was for parody, satire, and educational purposes. Everything we did. With still frame pictures, which means easily 80% of the content that we did was our content, and only about 20% of the content, a horrible, horrible turtle picture that you would probably best left forgotten, just stood there like. And you claimed that because you thought that you could get a couple pennies from it. Hasbro, you fucked up. You fucked up, because everybody, oh my God. They claimed the fucking Next Mutation for what? For what? Because you bought the property? Like, you may as well just let that shit die. That is ridiculous. But let's keep going here. What's this one? That was my favorite one. I know the other one is cool, but damn, man. That's where it was. In order to make that happen, you have to push this in, though. So it's the whole thing. You actually have to take it up, put it to your mouth, push down, push these two buttons. It's these two. This one does the theme song, and then when it's not, it's just clanking noises and shit like that. It's really solid. I'm sure this has been shown off, and you can see pictures of it that probably do even better justice than seeing it here on the live stream. But since it was written in the book and somebody asked me to do it, that's what it is, guys. That's what the Dragon Dagger, the Legacy Collection, it's got a lot of weight to it, actually. It's got some good weight. So let's turn him off. Let's mark that off the book because that's been done. And let's move down the list here because somebody else asked to see Saba. Okay, let's go do that. Move him up. Move that in. All of these are going to be moved off the shelf here soon anyway. Like literally all of it. Yes, you're all falling over. There's nothing I can do about that. They're going to be moved off the shelf very soon because all the Rangers are going to this side and all the X-Men are going to this side and everything's going to be unpackaged. Okay, here's Saba. This was the next thing that was asked. Okay, man. Let's go over this real quick. That's him this way. Other side. This is frickin' face. And the blade extends. If for what it's worth, it is pretty cool. This is once again a hard plastic. It's decently hard plastic. More so than what we had on the Dragon Dagger. This is just, as far as I could tell, this part is just plastic. That's disappointing to me. These, I would tell you that these are actual gold, but they look to be a bronze, and the coin is starting to get a color that makes me feel like it could be gold, to be fair. These could be plated gold, but I don't actually know. Like this part right here, that's plastic. That's plastic. That's plastic. The Dragon Dagger, everything that was that gold color is gold. This I'm not so sure because that's plastic. That's plastic. That is an actual metal. It could be gold on his face, on the side of his head here. And this part on the side here is a metal. These are plastic. So it's not that it's bad. It's a very decent build. But I would have preferred like all this metal right here. If these would have been plated gold, plated gold, plated gold, plated gold, they may have cheaped out a little bit, which is sad because this could have been, I guess it would have been more expensive, but I don't think that would have been a bad thing. So let's turn it on. Once again, they did a decent job of hiding the switch pretty good here so you can display it. You don't have to always worry. When you push the buttons, it does make all kinds of noises and it lights up and it. That's what all this is. That's all that button does. That's connection sounds and things of that nature. So let's push these two buttons back here. The eyes light up. It opens its mouth and everything. It's pretty cool. Let's get him right down here. Kitty. Okay, let's hear it talk.
Activate the Tiger Sword. White Tiger Sword. Tiger mode. Battle ready now.
I think you can hear him. I can move the mic up if you can't.
Oh, that was most impressive. I'm having difficulty getting through to the Red Ranger. I think you need a bit more power. I'll take care of him. Activate the Tiger Sword.
And that's everything he says. If you are hearing it, I don't know if you're hearing it, it makes this noise because of the little motor in here that moves its mouth up and down. It's actually kind of annoying. Every time it talks, you can hear this rattling sound that goes whoosh, 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 whoosh to make him speak. And it actually kind of breaks the effect. Like, I realize it's different. But I almost would have told you that I would have preferred the mouth almost doesn't even move. I guess it's cool, but
White Tiger Sword. Tiger mode. Battle ready now.
everything I'm hearing him say, maybe if his voice was louder, but every time it speaks, it it's very irritating. So it kind of breaks the illusion a little bit and takes you out of it. That's it. There are 3 buttons. This is what it is. It does have a lot of weight. It's heavier than the Dragon Dagger by far, but it's also person size, unlike some of the other toys that came out where they very much weren't. So let's close there, turn him off. He's going to go back up there, but like I said, I got a lot of rearranging on that shelf to do anyway. So for right now, he's going to go over here on that case. I showed off the power sword quite a long while ago, to be fair, and it was in a video called "My Power Sword Was Free," and that it really was. So there we go. So Saba, that's been taken care of now. Next on this list of things people have asked me to do, and anytime you guys have questions or things like that, you can always drop them in there too. It is people want to see the Dragon Zord. Ugh. So let's go back to the shelf and get him off the shelf. Man, I didn't think I'd be pulling this much stuff off the shelf today. Here he is. This is the Dragon Zord. It's from the Legacy Collection. It's got a lot of metal, a lot of plastic. He's starting to collect some dust. I need to get a can of air, actually, because he's been on that shelf. Ever since he got on the shelf, he hasn't moved. Okay, the tail, it's nice. It's got a lot of movement to it. That spins. They would have been cool if there would have been like a little thing here that you could have pushed. The little motor would have went like, whee, and made the thing spin. That would have been really cool. It does not. This is metal. This is kind of a really tough plastic. It's very mixed. Like that's plastic, these are plastic, that's plastic, but then his legs are metal. So he's awkwardly weighted because his ass is metal, but the middle part here is plastic. So like it's somewhat off-putting, but he does look really good. He's nicely painted. He's very solid, to be fair. He's a very solid piece, and I'm not going to transform it. It's a pain in the ass. This part clips off right here, and then it opens up, and then this falls out, and then the chest piece comes out, and then the arms come back. And once I had him like this is just what I decided to do. I'd made one hand where it was closing and one hand open for the missile fingers and whatnot. And since he's just a display piece, I don't freaking play with the Dragon Zord or whatever. That's fine. I would have preferred kind of like I've been saying, that if they're going to get all crazy and they're going to do these legacy collections, I would have preferred that he actually be gold, actually be metal all the way through or whatever. I guess when I'm feeling him right now, he's pretty damn heavy. If he would have been made completely of metal, maybe he would have been retarded heavy. But there's parts of him that I feel are still cheap, even by today's standards. But he's solid. He really is. He's not bad. He's a definite good piece. I always set him up there by my helmet. And just by chance, I was at a thrift store and I came across this. It's just like this little fucking throwaway Green Ranger miniature thing. And I figured that was pretty cool. So I often like to put this with him up on the shelf. There. We've talked about Dragon Zord. I'm going to go put him back. If I'd have known we were going through the books today, I probably would have got a lot of shit off the shelf to begin with. He's a solid build, to be fair. I don't hate him at all. That Green Ranger, he came out decent. Like I said, I guess I could complain that I feel parts of him still are somewhat cheap, but he's pretty solid. Let's see. Let's go to... I don't think I have anything for this right now. People said they wanted... This says it wants to talk about Sega Genesis memory. It was my first system. It was my first system. It was mine. My dad bought it. And it was made very obvious that it was my system. He would not take it without saying something to me first. And if he wanted to play something like, we were both playing Shining Force at the time, he was further than I was, but whenever I would go outside to play, he would come out and he would scream out my name or whatever, and I'd come over and I'd be like, "What's up?" And he'd be like, "Hey, can I play Shining Force?" And I remember the first time that happened, it kind of blew me away. Like when you're a kid and you're growing up and nothing is actually yours, you don't really think about it. But nothing actually belongs to you. There's things that are called yours, like your toys and shit like that, but your parents don't want those things. But like, then you go and you think that a movie is yours and you might have it for a while, and then one day you say something about it being yours, and then your parent hits back with, actually, that's mine. I bought that shit. And you're like, oh, well, shit. He's kind of right. Well, this was the first time that he said, can I play Shining Force? And I was like, yes. Why are you asking me? And he said, because it's yours. And I remember that was like a changing point up here in terms of maturity for me as a person when it became apparent. Just little bitty things. It was such a small moment, but it did help to change me a little bit because it said, if it's yours or if it's theirs, you respect that it's theirs. If it's yours, you respect that it's yours, and others should do the same. And that was something very interesting that came with my Sega Genesis. It's just this really small little memory. But, you know, I got it on Christmas. I remember that. It came with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I remember I played it that day. I beat the first boss that day, and I died because I drowned in the second level. I remember being super pissed about that. But I remember being excited. It was my system. The only other thing I'd seen up to that point was the Nintendo. So everything about it looked unbelievable. And I remember the first game I bought for it, like with my own money. Oh, man. It's a waste of fucking money is what it was. Oh, my God. Waste of fucking money. I bought Superman. And if you don't know, Superman doesn't have a stellar reputation in video games. And this was hardcore, no different, man. Still, that Superman game was awful. Remember the file I sent you because the format changed since I review. Oh yeah, that's more than fine. Yeah, in fact, you probably should. I don't. A lot of things happened last year that are behind the scenes, and it's really tough. It's really tough to break it all down, but a lot of stuff happened, and we lost a lot of stuff, including some of the guys that were running our background shit. So, like, the emails started having some troubles and everything. So it might be a good idea to resend it, actually. My favorite Sonic characters. Well, of course, I grew up Sonic. Knuckles came in second, and he really took my attention. I liked him. He was different. He was red. He had the big fists. And then we got that game where he could play as him, and he could float. He could do the fly thing. So I liked him a lot. I was never a Tails fan necessarily. Later on, they brought in like Amy or whatever, which was the pink girl. And then they got it was the vampire chick that showed up. Shadow, I think Shadow tries too hard to be hardcore. Like, it feels like they saw what was going on with Vegeta and other characters of that nature, and they were like, we need one of those. And I was like, you already got one. You already got one. You got Knuckles. And they were like, yeah, but he's not like edgy and cool and dark. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So they weren't happy with like a single anti-hero. They brought in another, and now they got like the Silver, and man, Sonic characters. I feel like I wish the games were good enough to give credit to Sonic characters. Because, look, people that like Sonic, they fucking love it, okay? They know the characters, they respect them, they know all about it, they read the comics. Like, there's some hardcore Sonic fans out there, and there ain't nothing wrong with being a hardcore Sonic fan. But for me, I feel like there's something missing in the whole thing. It doesn't feel right to me because the games are not strong enough to support the character base that it has. If the games were better, if they were treated with a little more respect, if they hadn't got so lost over the years, those characters might be a little better. And then sometimes they try too hard to flesh out characters where, like, we were happy with Sonic. We knew he had this attitude. We knew pretty much what he was by the games. And then they put in Knuckles, and Knuckles was pretty easy to determine what Knuckles was, what his personality was. It was pretty easy to determine what Tails was and what his personality was, even though there was no storylines going on. And then they just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And oh man. Oh man. So I think I'm around like where you are. I like Knuckles. I like Sonic. As we start getting into the more extra characters, it gets a little rough for me. Like I used to love how Mecha Sonic looked. But I mean, it wasn't much of a character to me either back then. There you go, for what it's worth. Going back to Sega, my first game I bought was Superman. Awful. It was just, oh man, that game was bad. I remember, like, it starts on the rooftops and, like, Superman is walking and he walks, like, slow and very mannish, and then like a bad guy would come. It was like this running green soldier robot thing, and I was like, punch! And then I'd kill it. And then I just keep walking. I jump over some buildings. Then I come across this space where there's like a gap in the roofs and you got to jump from here to here or whatever. So I jump and then I fall off the buildings. And I died. And I remember being so pissed, even as a little kid. I was like, Superman can fucking fly. Like, I was so mad. Because I fell off the building and died. And like, there was... The first bad guy is this like dude on the rooftops that throws flowers. And then if the flowers hit you, they explode. Ugh. Talk about a fucking waste of money. Waste of money. But RPGs were kind of weak for the Sega Genesis, but there are ones that stood out. Specifically, I really liked Shining Force 1 and 2 and Phantasy Star 4. Those games really, I think, stole it with the RPGs. Those were the ones that caught my attention the most. I, of course, liked Sonic 2. I liked all 3 Golden Axes. I liked all 3 Streets of Rage. Those games I thought were great. There were 2 decent Power Ranger games on there. I made my home for Mortal Kombat there, specifically because, just like everybody else, I was enticed by the blood code. So that's where I made my home with Mortal Kombat. Was I stuck to the Sega Genesis? I hear this a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and drop an unpopular opinion. Everybody likes to say that Aladdin was better on the Sega because you got a sword and it looked better. I recently played both of them. And I got to admit, in terms of the game's aging and me dropping some of my hardcore, I grew up with the Sega Genesis shit, I actually think the Super won this. I get that you get a sword. I think the Super Nintendo looks better. I think it handles slightly better. No, we're not talking by much here, and it could very well come down to the controller. But I feel like it handles a little better on the Sega. Or sorry, on the Super. I think it handles a little better on the Super, looks better on the Super, and sounds better on the Super. And sound, I realize that is subjective. I realize that is very opinionated. But sound on the Super Nintendo was better than it was on the Sega because they had the Sony sound chips. It was better sound quality. The Sony could push out better sound, and therefore, when you played the games, while Sega had a very good version, those Disney songs sounded better and more in track with what you heard in the movies on the Super than they did on the Sega. Toe Jam and Earl was one of those games that stood out on the Sega Genesis quite a bit to me. I loved my Sega. I really did. I played the shit out of it. Haunting, starring Poltergeist. That game is magnificent. It had a good Castlevania, which is surprising, actually, because we've seen Castlevania go to other systems and fail. But Bloodlines is a very solid Castlevania game. I think I've covered a good deal of Sega here. So we will look and see what is next on the list. Okay, that's interesting. Somebody asked me where I think portable gaming is today. And I'm guessing they're asking me because of the Switch. Okay, here's the thing. The Switch is portable, but it's a hybrid home console. So let's break this down into a couple of things here real quick before we get too crazy with it. One, let's talk about portable gaming as it stands on the cell phone. I fucking hate it. I hate it. Despise it even. I don't like cell phone games. They're just games you play forever and get nowhere. And they're designed like this. They're designed like this. I realize there are games out there that are, quote, AAA titles, and they've ported things over that you can actually beat, and you could play things like KOTOR on the phone. I get it, okay? That's fucking wonderful. But realistically, the main market of cell phone gaming is these fucking forever run-on games. They just go and go and go and go and go. They never stop. They're designed to take your money and your time. And which one you want to part with is up to you. If you would like to part with your time, you're going to get somewhere. If you would like to part with your money, you're going to get somewhere. But it's going to take a while either way, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. And I don't like this mentality, because it's been working for cell phone games and it's been making them money. It is now slowly but surely making its way into console gaming. And I'm not just talking about microtransactions, guys. That's one of those things. Everybody likes to go straight to microtransactions. Yes, that's a problem. For cell phone gaming, the reason I let it go is because those games are designed for that purpose. And most of its player base is playing free games. And if that guy that plays a free game drops $20, $30, $40, $60, then I don't give a shit, because they were kind of entitled to that money. Like, nobody gives free. Free comes with a dick in the ass. Let's get honest here. Okay, guys? Almost nothing in your life is free. That includes these games. They had to make them. They have to produce them. They have to send them out there. Like, I have to update them and look over them and make sure their servers work and deal with shitty customers. Like, these games are not free. They needed to make money. Because if they put a game out like that was free, the only thing it would do is bite their dick and they would be done and they would leave the gaming industry forever because they made no goddamn money. It's a lot like what we do. We do a show, and that show is free. Well, to be honest, sometimes free is hard. It's very hard, okay? Like, that costs money. That costs money. That costs money. And all of those things we needed back when we ran the shows live. We used to do gaming show. We had to buy those games that we were going to talk about. We used to do a comic book show. We had to buy comics to read, to come on here, to do the show. So you'd buy the comic or the game, you put your time in, you do your stuff, you have your fun, you come in here, you talk about it, you produce that, you get the game footage, you make that, you run the thing, you put that, you upload it, and you then like some 4,000 people watch it, and then you get nothing for it. Like, we probably could have monetized once or twice. We've had a roller coaster of experiences that say we could have monetized at some point, but that comes with its own set of circumstances and problems as well. And for the most part, we're just doing a free show. But if I could take what we've had to do and all the money that we've pumped in off microphones, sound equipment, lighting, which is not on right now, which is the reason the light looks the way it does. The only thing I've got is that window, but there's a light up there. There's 2 umbrellas over there. There's a light down here on the floor, and there's a light that I can hang back up there, which then it's like right over here on the shelf that can beam this way through an umbrella. And like the diffusers and everything cost money. There's a camera over here in the corner. You can't really see it, but it's right over there behind that shelf. Like, all these things costed us money. And over the years, we've probably dropped, I'm going to throw a number out and it's going to sound ridiculous, but I think it's true. We've probably dropped about $10,000 to $11,000 on our show. Yeah, it's probably true. The mic I have right now is about $200. We had 4 capture cards. Each of them were about $80. You think about the cords that went into it. Each microphone is about $80. The cords are about anywhere from $15 to $45, depending on what it is. The soundboard was an $800 drop. 4 different studio monitors over the years. That's TVs that we've used. It's costed 4 different laptops to keep the show editing and things like that. We started using Vegas Pro. When we bought that was a retarded fucking program. It's a lot cheaper than it was now. All the video games that we bought specifically for no other reason than to review. I mean, I'm telling you guys, as it adds up over the years, everything we spent and the trips that we've made to film in different locations, gas and different things like that. I'm leaving out little things like food budget and shit like that too, because we used to film from 9 in the morning till 12 at night in order to get all the shows done, and that was a lot. So you figure every time we met up, we had to eat and we had to feed the whole crew, and that was in our budget line too. So like, I'll bet you that over the years that we've done this, it runs us anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year, relatively, because we've been running this stuff for about 11 years. No, maybe 12 years. It's been maybe about 12 years, because I started. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, it's been about 12 years when everything's said and done, because I've been at my current job for about 10 years, and I started at McDonald's, and McDonald's was 2 years before that. So yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, and I'd say we've dropped about that much money relatively over the years. So when you put these cell phone games out, they're not free because they're not. They take money. They took all the people that worked on them. They need to be paid. They need to be fed. They need to be housed. and then so on and so forth. So the reason I don't get mad about microtransactions in cell phone games when the games are free to play, you were asking for it. They needed to make money. They're not working for free. Nobody does that. So yeah, there you go. But leaving cell phone gaming, the other side of portable gaming would be the portable consoles, like DS, PSP, things like that. I think it's dead. I think it's dead, and it is done. We are now in a state, because of the Switch, and I think this is going to become a natural thing. The Switch is going to change things in huge ways. Things like gaming on a tablet and things of that nature are becoming a lot more normal. And AAA titles for things like those are going to become a lot more normal because we're proving now that people will take their Switch and go places and play games. So I think portable gaming as you knew it is dead, but I think it is being replaced by something, and it's going to start happening pretty soon. In the next couple console generations, I think you're going to see a lot more remote play and features of that nature because the industry kind of copies itself. As it realizes that this could be done or has been done, they want to do it too. So you get something like controllers. Oftentimes you'll see there's a little bit of universal design in controllers that work, such as this now has become a universal concept design. And the GameCube controller it's not too far off from this. It's also got these little, and it's a different layout and everything, but that's what I'm getting at. It is slightly different. So then, aside from that, we often see the copy of controllers. We see the copy of games. We see, like, all of a sudden bullet time was in fucking everything. And then, the quick time events and whatnot were in every fucking game. So this is not rare. And because the Switch did as well as it did and is doing as well as it's doing, we are not done. You are going to see this go further. And the next generation of consoles, I will almost guarantee you, will all have forms of remote play. In fact, I've already heard that they're working on systems now, even for computers, where, in fact, I don't think I've heard. I think I know. I actually think one of our guys, he's not on too many episodes, but Jeremy does it. He uses his laptop, and he uses a Ghost system. There's a very powerful gaming PC that he pays for that then he basically remote plays to it. So all the stuff is downloaded onto that thing, and then he basically plays for a laptop somewhere else or on his TV or whatever. But he's actually playing on that. This kind of stuff is going to become a lot more normal. And I really think that's where portable gaming is going to go, is now we're moving into a remote play area where things like that are going to start happening. And they have been happening for a while, but now I think you're going to see it much more. And I think, especially right now with what looks to be happening with Microsoft getting in on Nintendo and being like, hey, we're going to help you with your online stuff. Yeah? Yeah? You want some help? And then they're going over to PlayStation and like, hey, man, want some help? Want some help? You want me and you to make money together? And what this is, I'm positive of it, is this will form a system that runs across the board so that things like crossplay are easy. You don't have to worry about one system being too overpowered or too broken, or a network not quite working on the Switch, so you can't really play because it's always bogged down or something like that. They're going to start working on this and fixing it. And why are they doing that? It has nothing to do with necessarily partnerships. These gaming guys, like, we are the ones that say PlayStation, PlayStation. It's a business. And all these guys know that it is a business. And that if all of them are doing well, that's business for everyone. And if one guy hits the top, it's not going to be too long before it cripples the business. So the competition is healthy, but it's also somewhat fake. You really think the Sony executives are like pissy with the Nintendo executives, and the Nintendo executives are like, we don't talk to Microsoft guys. We do that. The fans do that. That's not them. I promise you they have beers together. And they probably share their ideas quite a bit, which is the reason the industry is always copying off each other. No doubt in my mind. But I think that what's happening right now is going to push us into something different because they want this cloud gaming shit to work. They want you to stream your games, to get everything digitally. And they have a way to do it now. If they get the systems working universally, then after a while, all three systems will basically be nothing more than Steam boxes. I've had people argue with me about it in the past on the show where people have said, I think what you're thinking is still way too far out. I think it's closer than you think it is. Systems like PlayStation Now are already happening. The Xbox has got themselves a streaming thing on the way, don't they? And Nintendo has already been playing around with the concept of what the digital console could be. I think we're way closer than people seem or tend to realize. And that sooner or later, it's going to be very in your face. And I think another thing that's pushing this that people aren't paying attention to are pre-orders. Pre-orders are changing the industry in a way that drives you to buy things digitally. Couple of things here. How often is it now that we're buying Switch games or PlayStation games and we get one game? But then there's 2 games of this 3-pack that you have to go download. It may not sound like much, but it's programming. And I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist, but it's programming. It says, hey guys, you bought Final Fantasy X, but you also bought Final Fantasy X-2. We just don't have it physically. If you want, you could download that. I mean, it's yours. You bought it. Here's the code. Now you download it. You play it. Wasn't that bad. It was even somewhat convenient, right? Buy Spyro. You get the first one. The other 2 aren't there. You go download those. Buy Resident Evil Revelations 1. It comes with part 2, but you got to download that game. And slowly but surely, after a while, you have like 9 downloaded games. And while it's nice to put the cartridge in or whatever and play it, you start to realize that you could just turn the system on and go doop, 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 bling, and just turn it on. And that's convenient. And convenience is a big selling item in our day and age. It's the reason that it's the reason that grocery shopping works the way it does now. Convenience is exactly what is going to push it. And it's already happening. And these pre-orders, people are going out to stores and they're like, oh, you should pre-order that. You should definitely pre-order that. And now it's even becoming to a point where that's not a joke. You almost have to. Because some of these GameStops and whatnot, I don't care where you shop, I'm just being in general. You go in and you're like, hey, I want to pre-order so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what about this game? And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to wait. It'll come out. It'll be here. I'll get it. Well, that day comes and they get all the games and they put all the pre-order shit on the on the back lots to give to the people that actually pre-ordered. And then they take the 4 copies of that game that they got and they put those on the shelf. And they say, there you go. 4 people come in. They buy them. You come in. You're like, hey, where's so-and-so? Bravely Default or whatever. And they're like, none. We got 4 copies. That's all we got. Hey, man, if you want something, you should pre-order it. And then they say something else. You could probably get it online because that's the go-to remark. And you know what? They're right. The supply online is unlimited. But they're starting to figure out that they can save money by saying, hey, how many people want this shit? And then I say, I do. They say, okay, make that many plus 1,000. There we go. Now we put less product out. We had to do less in terms of making the shit, less in terms of producing and shipping. So we saved a whole lot of money. Those guys got the games they wanted. That's our profit line coming in. There's about 1,000 out there that if they don't sell, who gives a fuck? If they do sell, there, we got even more money. And then the rest of them, they can get it digitally. We're not doing a second wave. And we've been slowly buying into it. The industry has been changing. We are going to go all digital. There's no doubt in my mind. It's going to be streaming and digital, and there's going to be a lot of different services out there, and the systems are probably going to be very much like Steam boxes, and there's going to be a lot of remote play and things of that nature. Some dude's starting to mow. That's where I see it taking us. That's where I see the state of portable gaming. I think portable gaming is definitely in our future because I think a lot of games are going to go remote play, cloud, and streaming type of shit like that. I don't see that there's any other way that this could go. I am at an hour and a half. We still got Game Talk PlayStation. Talk about the Nintendo Switch. I kind of did. That is all that's left on that page, and then we'll be moving on to this. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I think that's it for Fandom Rant 2. I'm going to start doing these when I have the chance to. I think these are fairly easy, and I think as we get people in here asking questions, it'll move a lot better. It'll be easier to do, and I think I'll be able to bring some of the guys in on it too from time to time and kind of make this maybe even another form of podcast as we go. That's it for me for right now. I got to start getting some stuff ready. I have graduation to go to and whatnot, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about this computer monitor, about this monitor, so that I can actually get my streams happening in here, because this is becoming a problem. In fact, I need to figure out what to do about the TV, because if I don't have it, it's actually going to hurt the Sentai show too. But that's for another time. Look, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to get out of here.